Hello, it's me, Dawn Cornell from Always in Stitches in Noblesville, Indiana. And welcome to our YouTube channel. We're excited about having our YouTube channel. We hope you look at some of our other videos. Very educational, lots of fun things to learn. And if you want to, subscribe and hit the like button. And away we go. Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make yo-yos with the Clover yo-yo maker. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I've been making yo-yos for years. All you do is cut a circle, baste around the edge, and pull it together. But if your yo-yos come out wonky and the gathers are all different heights and you're just not satisfied with how they look, the yo-yo maker is the answer. I love making yo-yos. And so I'm going to show you the different sizes that are available. We have the jumbo size, and this yo-yo maker makes a yo-yo this size. So I'm going to put it on my hand so you can kind of see what kind of size we're talking about. But I want you to notice how the gathers are all the same height. They're all the same distance from one another, and it makes it perfectly round and a very nice looking yo-yo. And so that's what I want in my yo-yos, something very uniform, okay? So that's the jumbo one. And then here's the large one. It's 2, and I don't know how big the big one is, but this one is 2 3/8 inches. So it's the yellow one, and I'm going to hold this in my hand so you can kind of see the size. Compare that to that. But look, you can stack them. Look at how pretty that is. Or you could even go this way with them if you wanted to. So fun. And then the orange one, I don't have a size for you because it's the one I'm going to make. So you can see how to make them. But it ends up being 1 3/4 inches. The green one, which is my favorite, is 1 1/4. And there's what it looks like in comparison. And then we have the itty bitty teeny weeny one, which is the turquoise or blue one. And there's the size of it. It is so tiny. And it is actual size tiny because it doesn't say on the packaging what actual size it is. It does on all the other ones. But here's how they come packaged. They come with informational cards. Look at some of the projects that they've done with them. This is a little hair clip. Isn't that adorable? Put a little pearl in the middle of it. Makes it so cute. If you're anything like me, I have to have one of all the sizes. And when I get something like this, I always have to have something cute to carry them in. So my go-to thing is usually a tin. And this little tin box is from Moda, and it's got all the states, and it's really cute. We had panels like this at one time, but easy to carry all your stuff. You can put a pair of scissors in here, a magnet with a needle on it, and your fabric and all your yo-yo makers, and away you go, and you can yo-yo until you run out of fabric. It's just so much fun. If you don't want to carry around a tin, we got these Tula Pink project bags. I think that is happy, happy, happy. I love that. Green is my favorite color, so definitely an awesome bag to carry some of your yo-yo works in. When I start making them, I just carry them around in a Ziploc bag so that I can see what I've got, and easy to see, you know, how many I have, and so much fun to just look at them. So especially, these are all red, but if they were all different colors, wouldn't that be so fun? And of course, you can see how much I love making them. Now, I have a quilt here. Peter is going to scan my quilt. This quilt is called Sugar and Spice. It's by Black Cat Creations. And we've got the pattern on order. We ran out. It is so fun, but it's a Dresden plate And if you can get really close, Peter, and look at these yo-yos. This yo-yo was made with the green one. Remember I said the green one was my favorite? See how it's the same size? And each Dresden plate you just outline. Isn't that so sweet? I love that. I think it's very unusual. So again, that was Sugar and Spice by Black Cat Creations. Or you could call it the Dresden plate with the yo-yos. That's always a good name too.
The yo-yo plate.
The yo-yo plate. Yo-yo. So now I'm going to show you how I make one. So I'm going to do the orange one. And what I want you to notice about the yo-yo maker is it comes in two pieces. And this is the outside and this is the inside. And on the outside, on the back of the outside, I mark my little, I'm going to call this a little nubbin. I don't know, can you see that there's a little place that sticks out around the circle? Well, I always mark that so I know where I'm going to start and where I'm going to end. So you can see that all my yo-yo makers have that mark on them. And I had to do that myself. Now, if I was somebody really important, I would call the Clover people and say, hey, you ought to make one of those nubbins a little dark so that people know where to start and stop. But not that important, so I just have to do it myself, which is fine.
What do you put there to make it dark?
Just a Sharpie marker.
Oh, okay.
Just, you know, yeah, it's just a dot. And you'll see why here in a minute, okay? So with my larger piece face down, and I'm going to put my fabric face down. And remember, I talked about those little nubbins. Well, those are important. There's a little nubbin right there. And can you see that on the inside there are these lines? Can they see those?
Yeah, I'm zoomed in really close.
Okay, good. So I'm going to line up one of those lines with one of these nubbins. And if I line up one, then they all line up. Okay, and then I'm going to just push that in as firm as I can, and you'll hear it click. I don't know if you heard it click, but it will click in place. Then I'm going to take my scissors. I'm not going to pre-cut my fabric at all. I'm going to take my scissors and can you see it's about 1/8 of an inch away from the yo-yo maker. This is not an exact science. It's just approximately. You don't want too much fabric to be gathered inside your yo-yo. It'll make it too bulky, but you've got to have enough to turn that under when you are stitching. So, and I'm going a little slower than I normally would just so the camera can kind of see what I'm doing, but usually I just whip that right off. So now you can see that I have a little overlap of fabric all the way around.
It's like a little baby pie crust.
There, hey, I'm hankering for some pecan pie right now. It's that time of year, you know what I'm saying? So then for my thread, if you have a thread that you don't trust to be really, really strong, I would recommend doubling your thread. But I'm going to use this Aurifil, and usually I use a thread that matches the color of the fabric. But so that you can kind of see what I'm doing, I'm going to just use this one. And you're going to pull out quite a long distance because you've got to go all the way around, even though you're not using very much thread, because when you pull it all together, it gathers up and only uses about 1/2 inch of thread. You've still got to go all the way around this. So I'm going to thread my needle. And this is a nice little tip I'll give you. If the thread is thin enough, which the Aurifil thread is nice and thin but still really strong, I can tie a knot in the end of my needle at the eye of the needle, and as long as the eye is bigger than the knot, it will not affect going through the fabric, and then I don't ever lose my needle off of the end of my thread. Another thing that I always do, because thread has nap, is I always thread my needle and tie it on before I cut it off the spool. That way I know that it's always going, the nap is always going the right way. Then I'm going to do a quilter's knot where I'm just going to wrap the thread around the needle maybe about 5 times and pull. Then I have a nice little knot, and I have a big tail, and I'm just going to cut that big tail off, so I don't need that in my way. So I'm going to go from the back side of the tool, the yo-yo maker, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at my dot, and it'll be to the left-hand side of the dot. Now you can see these little crescent shapes right here. That's where my stitches are going to go. I'm going to, with my finger, just pull that fabric back, push my needle up from the back, making sure I grab some fabric, then over here, going across the slot that is in the tool, I'm going to make a stitch, and then I'm going to go over to the next one and do it again. I'm going to make another stitch. Now, if your stitches are, if your thread is showing up on this part, you're doing it wrong, because there's no way you're going to be able to get the back off the front if you're stitching it to the fabric. So make sure that the stitch is in this kind of negative space, this little crescent smiley face. And I'm just going to stitch all the way around. Now what is so nice about this is that it's very relaxing. You can do, there's no measuring, there's no thinking about it, there's no counting stitches, you know, nothing like that. It's just very relaxing, because you don't have to think too much. And you know what? Anytime there's no thinking involved, I'm in that. I'm all for it. But I continue to, with my finger, just lower that fabric so that I'm making sure that I'm getting both layers of fabric in my stitch. And my stitch doesn't go all the way to the top of that smile on both sides, just kind of in the middle. You don't want to take a big bite, but you don't want to take a little tiny bite that you're only getting one thread back there. And I'm going a little bit slower than I normally would. You know, I can pump these out pretty fast, but I've had a lot of practice. I've made a lot of yo-yos. And this time of the year, they do all kinds of things with yo-yos. You know those cone-shaped foam cones? If you could do all green yo-yos, and you could put little red pearls in the middle of them, and then you'd have a little Christmas tree, see, for your centerpiece.
I see there's some on that pumpkin.
Yeah, there are. I'm going to tell you about that pumpkin here in a minute. Oh, I'm so excited about it. Okay, so
do people make buttons with them, like button covers, or?
Not really, because they've got this hole in them. You could glue a button or sew a button in the middle. Definitely you could do that. I thought with this big giant one, if you wanted to give yourself a first place ribbon for something you made, just make yourself a ribbon. Heck, don't wait for somebody else to give you a ribbon. But you could do this, and then you could put another one on top, and you could put some tails on it. And you could, on the tails, write first place, I'm number 1, whatever you want. You can make yourself a ribbon. Which, you know what, sometimes we all need a little encouragement, and a little ribbon doesn't hurt. So now I'm all the way back, and I'm making my last smiley face. I'm all the way back to my dot. Now before I started putting this dot on here, heck, I'd get to talking to myself or talking to the dog or whatever, and I'd be all the way around another time before I even caught myself. So it's a good thing that I have that. But one good secret, you're going to have to come close for this, Peter.
Oh.
Sorry. One good secret that I have found works really good for me is I'm going to turn it around. Now there's my last stitch. Can you see it right there? And here's my knot. Can they see that, Peter? Okay, I'm going to go in the same spot as my knot, but I don't want to pierce my knot, because if I pierce my knot, it's not going to gather, okay? But if I leave this step out, this won't be gathered. This section right here will stick out and won't become part of the gather. So you want to go all the way around plus 1. You see that? So my thread is on top, and I'm going to just take the pieces apart, and I just rethread my thread back through that hole, and this whole piece just comes apart. And then I take a look and make sure I have stitches all the way around, making sure that I pierced each one, because sometimes I can get it so close to the edge that it doesn't catch. And I want to make sure that those all caught, so that when I take it off of the back of the tool, this is what I've got. Now, as I pull my string, or my thread, excuse me, my thread, see how it starts together? I'm going to take my thumb and my fingers, and I'm going to gently force that fabric to go inside my yo-yo. Now look at how even those gathers are. See, that's the secret right there, is that all those stitches were exactly the same distance apart. So the gathers just gather so perfect. Another secret I have found is when I've got it all gathered, I will pull across. So my knot, you may not be able to see it, but it's on this side right here where the gather is. And I just pull it straight across, and it really, look at how it just makes those nice and tight. Then I pinch that together with my finger, and I reveal the spot where I took my last stitch. And what I'm going to do, and this is the reason why you want to use the same color thread as your fabric, I'm going to take just a little tiny pinch. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a little tiny pinch in that gathering spot. I only want one gathering. And I'm going to tie a knot by just going through the loop. And I'm going to do that again just for, security. Okay, so there you go. And then I just go and hide my thread under a couple of these gathers. That was a little tough without my thimble. I should have had my thimble on. Then I'm going to take my scissors and cut that real close to the fabric, but don't nip your fabric. And then you kind of have to just play with it a little bit to get it nice and round and all those gathers lined up. And isn't it pretty? Now, the tighter you pull, the smaller your opening will be. I kind of like mine to show a little bit. So I like it to be like that. See how they've got the hole in the middle? That's the signature of the yo-yo. Of course, this teeny weeny bitty weeny one doesn't have much of a hole, but it's very cute. I like it very much. Now, what do you do with all these yo-yos, Dawn, that you've got? This is
hand them out as candy.
Yeah, hand them out for Halloween candy. Well, I showed you my quilt, right? So isn't this a fun treatment to finish?
This is the first time I've seen this.
Is it the
So
first
this is really
finishing
cool.
the edges of a Dresden plate with
Super cool to
yo-yos?
me.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making this quilt. I want to get it quilted. I should have pressed it before I put it down today. But yeah, it's really a fun quilt and very textured. And so then, do not call and ask for this pattern. This pattern is probably from 1970.
This is the one everybody's going to want.
Everybody's going to want it. 70s or 80s. It's a Mary Englebright hardback book where I got this pattern from. And I fell in love with it. I especially love the border that is the squares, the checkerboard border. But look at how fun these little yo-yos are. Isn't that sweet? and it's in the 30s reproduction fabric. These are Mary Engelbright buttons, you know, the whole deal. I love the look of Mary Engelbright things. So this was a fun project to do. And how I did it was I stitched all the yo-yos together, and then I appliqued them down on the foundation piece. And what I mean when I say I stitched them all together, just so happens, look at this. This is a little table mat that I made. And all I did was just whip stitch them. You can't hardly see it because I used the same color thread, but there, maybe you can see it. Not such a good job there doing it. There, I pulled that one apart so you can see it. I just kind of whip stitched them together, and see how fun they lay? You don't even have to put them on a base. This one was on a foundation. You don't have to put these on a foundation. They lay just fine by themselves. And then I went to my friend's house, and we always like to do a craft project. We both work in the industry making patterns and quilts for everybody else, and we never get to do anything for ourselves. And so she lives in Texas, and I don't get to see her very much. So every year we try and do a project together, and this was our project this year. We went to Hobby Lobby and bought one of these velveteen pumpkins. I don't know if you can see, it's really soft and it's really pretty. And then we just took some ribbon that she had in her stash, and we took a whole bunch. One evening I just sat and did yo-yos in the greens and the oranges and the golds. We had some old doilies we took apart and we tea stained those. We have some wooden little leaves that we got at the Hobby Lobby. Oh, look at this fun key. Isn't that cute? And this little sprig of acorn. But what makes this project really, really sweet are all the different sized yo-yos that we've incorporated, and then put some of our old buttons, old trims, you know, and just made it really special to us because we used out of our stash. I brought the yo-yo stuff. We raided her button box. We went to Hobby Lobby and got all the other extra things. And it just made for a really nice table piece. But then the little mat, doesn't that just pull it all together? Don't you just love that?
I love that.
I wish it was fall all year long so I could keep it up. Hey, I might do it anyway. You know, is anybody going to come and arrest me because I keep a beautiful pumpkin out all year long?
I haven't seen any yo-yo police lately.
No yo-yo police. So I think yo-yos are fun. They're portable. I think if you've never made one, you can certainly make them without the tool. You just cut a circle and do a whip stitch around the edge and pull to gather it. You do have to force that fabric underneath so it goes into the yo-yo. But they're easy to make without the yo-yo maker, but 10 times as fast with the yo-yo maker because you don't have to pre-cut your circles. You just lay your yo-yo maker into your fabric. Remember, face side down. And then the ideas you can come up with are just endless. I'm going to take these apart off the little yo-yo maker, and I'm going to just show you how sweet that is. Is that
It's
just
a yo-yo snowman.
It's a yo-yo
Tree.
totem pole. That's the word I was trying to find. It's a yo-yo what did I just say?
Tadpole.
Not tadpole.
Totem pole.
Totem pole. Oh, Peter, you're making me think I'm crazier than I already am. So I just think it's lots of fun. Come to the shop if you need a yo-yo maker. We've got them. We don't have this yo-yo gigantic monster in, but we're ordering them. Also, we're ordering in the patterns. So give us a week or two for those things to get in. But if you want the other yo-yo makers, we do have those in stock. So come and see us. We love for you to come in. Bring some of your stuff that you've made. Peter always loves to take videos and pictures of the things that our customer makes. It makes it lots more fun and inspirational for everybody else. So I'll see you next time. Don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll come up with something. Bye.